Good morning, boys and girls. The purpose of this video is to help you review area and perimeter before you take your Maintain Skills assessment today, okay? So thank you for watching. All right, boys and girls, so first we need to talk about the difference between area and perimeter. So think about area being an array. Well, an array is when we make an array, we have a bunch of rows and columns, okay? So area makes an array of little boxes across a rectangle or a square. So area is those number of square units needed to cover the entire inside of the shape. I like to think of it like this. Area, array, and I know to find the total amount in an array, I multiply. So area, array, multiply. Area, array, multiply. Now, the opposite of the inside of the shape would be the outside of the shape, and that's the perimeter. This word perimeter has a root word in the middle, rim. Rim is the outside of a shape. So since perimeter is the distance around the shape, we would add to find the distance around the shape. We would add up all four of the sides. Now, a little thing that I like to tell my brain for perimeter is it starts with a P. And since I'm adding all four sides, that's plussing them. So I like to do perimeter plus, perimeter plus, perimeter plus. Okay, and it even has this T in it that looks like a plus sign. So get the definition straight in your brain. Area, array, multiply. Perimeter plus, perimeter plus. Area, array, multiply. Perimeter plus. All right, so just like we already said, perimeter is plus, and that's adding all four sides. Please be careful that when you're finding the area of a square or rectangle, you are adding all four sides, not just two of them. And for area, since it's the space inside of this shape, and it creates an array to cover the shape, please make sure that you're multiplying one length by one width to solve. Okay, so let me go over some practice problems, and these are the same problems that we did together in class. This is just a little review for you. All right, so it said, what is the perimeter of a rectangle with a length of 2 inches and a width of 7 inches? Well, first, boys and girls, before you start a problem, think about what it's asking, okay? Well, I see that keyword in the question is perimeter. So I'm going to tell myself, ooh, P perimeter plus. So you might want to add a plus sign. So what is the perimeter of a rectangle with a length of 2 inches and a width of 7 inches? So I'm going to start by drawing this rectangle. So I have a length of 2 inches and a width of 7. But since rectangles have 4 sides and opposite sides are the same, if this side is 7, the other side is 7. If this side is 2, the opposite side is 2. So if I'm going to add up all 4 sides, I'm doing 7 plus 7 plus 2 plus 2. Well, 7 and 7 is 14. 2 and 2 is 4. So if I put 14 and 4 together, I'm going to get 18. So the perimeter of this rectangle is 18 inches because we're working with inches. P, perimeter plus. All right, so I can use perimeter to also solve other questions. I could work backwards if I know the perimeter, but I'm trying to find the length and the width. Like in this question, it says, which of the following has a perimeter of 30? So remember, P, perimeter plus. So which of these has a perimeter of 30? So I'm going to come up here and draw each rectangle, okay? But I'm going to add all 4 sides since I'm looking for what has a perimeter of 30. So let me draw choice A. 10 feet long, 3 feet wide. So if this side is 10, the opposite side is 10. If this side is 3, the opposite side is 3. 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 3. 10 and 10 is 20. 3 and 3 is 6. 20 plus 6, 26. Ooh, that's not 30. But A is actually what we like to call a trick answer. If you got area and perimeter confused, you might think it was letter A, because 10 times 3 is 30, but we're not doing 10 times 3. We're doing 10 plus 10 plus 3 plus 3, which is not 30, it's 26. Okay, so let's look at letter B. So I'm going to switch to green and draw B. 5 by 6. So 5 feet long, 6 feet wide. So if this side is 6, the other side is 6. If this side is 5, the other side is 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. 6 plus 6 is 12. 10 and 12 make 22. That is also not 30. All right, so let me try out C. I'll change to blue. I have 20 by 30. Excuse me, not by 30. Whoops, 20 by 10. So it would be really tempting just to add 20 plus 30, 20 plus 10 and get 30. But boys and girls, remember, rectangles don't have 2 sides. Rectangles have 4 sides. So if this side is 20, the opposite side is also 20. And if this side is 10, the other side has to be 10. So we're really doing 20 plus 20 plus 10 plus 10, which is a total of 6. Okay, so the last one is letter D. It has a length of 12 and a width of 3. So since opposite sides are the same, I'll fill in all the sides and add. 12 plus 12 is 24. 3 plus 3 is 6. So 24 and 6 is a grand total of 30. Cha-ching! This has a perimeter. Remember, P perimeter plus a perimeter of 30. All right. So now let's talk about area. Remember, area, array, multiply. Area, array, multiply. So what is the area of a rectangle with a length of 5 feet and a width of 8 feet? I'm going to first draw the rectangle. So we have a length of 5 and a width of 8. Okay? Now, since it's area, I know I'm making an array, so I'm going to multiply. I have 5 columns, and I have 8 rows. Now, since I have all those boxes covering the inside, making that beautiful array, to find the total in an array, all I have to do is do length times width. So 8 times 5 gives me 40. Please make sure when you're doing area, always double check yourself using your multiplication chart, because everyone makes mistakes. It's just part of being human. So just like that, I'm also going to check my work. I'm going to check my multiplication chart on my virtual manipulative site, and I'm going to make sure that 5 times 8 is 40. And yes, it is. Okay? All right. So besides working front ways, we can also work backwards with area. So say we're given the area, and we have to find the dimensions, the length and the width. So this question says, which of the following has an area of 24 inches squared? Remember, area is always in squared units because it's the squares that cover the inside. So I'm trying to find what has an area of 24. Remember, area, array, multiply. So I'm going to multiply to solve. So length times width is going to equal 24. So let's test it out. Let's try letter A. A has a length of 20 and a width of 4. So I need to do 20 times 4. Well, 2 times 4 is 8. And I'm going to tack on 1 0 since it's a multiple of 10. But, ooh, that's going to be 80 inches squared. Okay, that's not going to be 24, my target. Let's try B. B is a 10 by 2. 10 by 2. Okay, well, if I multiply 10 times 2, I'm going to get 20. Because 1 times 2 is 2, and I tack on 1 0. That's close to 24, but it's not quite there. My next one is a 4 by 6. So if I have a 4 by 6, 4 times 6, oh yes, that does equal 24. So C, so far, is the best answer. Let's try letter D. D says 8 by 7. Now, since we have an 8 by 7, and I want to know the area, I'm going to do 8 times 7. Now, our sevens tables can be a little tricky. The sevens, 8, and the 8 tables and the 6 tables are the most difficult on our multiplication chart. They're kind of the hardest to remember. So always check your chart to make sure. So let me double check 8 times 7, because I think I know what it is, but I want to make sure. I think it's 56, but let's check. 8 times 7, yes, is 56. So since 56 is not the same as 24, it's not the best answer. So the best answer is C. 4 times 6 is 24. We can check that on our chart. 4 times 6, yes, is 24 inches squared. Okay? All right. So that's working with regular rectangles. Now we're going to work with a rectilinear shape. Now, a rectilinear shape is just a fancy word meaning that two rectangles are kind of smushed together. So see, we have a rectangle and a rectangle kind of merged into one shape. This is a rectilinear shape, but we can still use the same properties of length times width to help us out. But we just have to decompose it first. Let me show you what I mean. This question says, Miss Matthews' garden is pictured to the right. So I know that this is a garden. What is the total area? So area, remember, keyword, area, array, multiply. So now I'm going to multiply to find the area. But, oh my goodness, I don't have just one length and one width. I have a lot of different sides. So what I need to do is decompose or break apart this rectilinear shape into friendly rectangles, okay? So what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to split it up this way. Okay, I think I'm going to split the rectangle this way. You could have split it this way. You will still get the same final answer, but I think I'm going to split mine this way. Okay, when I split it that way, I'm going to create two rectangles. Okay, the one that I've highlighted in blue and this one that I've highlighted in green. So let's work on the blue rectangle first. I want to find the area of it. So I need to find my length and width. So I see that my length is 8 because from here to here is 8 centimeters. Now my width is going to be 4. Note, it's not this 8 down here because this goes all the way to this corner. I want to go length and width of just the blue rectangle. So we're going to have an 8 by 4, and 8 times 4 equals 32 square centimeters. Okay? So now I need to find the area of the little green rectangle. Well, I know I'm not going to use this 8 because this distance is from here all the way to here, and that's not part of the green rectangle. So I need to focus on the length and width here. So I see the length that's 4 long and 3 wide, and 4 times 3 is 12 centimeters squared. So now that I have my two areas, I need to combine them to find the total. 32 and 12 need to be put together. We put numbers together with addition. So my final area is 44 square centimeters. Okay? But that's not the only way to do that question. That's just one way. One way is to decompose. Another way that I can solve it, and I'm going to solve it the opposite way. So last time, remember, I split it from here to here. I'm going to split it this way now. I'm going to show you that you can also use square tiles to help you. Okay? For example, if you split it from here to here, okay, I'm not going to use this 8, but I'm going to use 4 by 5. And if I were to create that on my Tiles website, 4 by 5 is an area of 20. 4 times 5 is 20. Right here, I'm now going to do this rectangle. So I'm not going to use this 4 because this isn't the whole length. The whole length is 8 and the width is 3. So 8 times 3 creates this array, and 8 times 3 is 24. So if I put 20 and 24 together, that's a total of 44 square centimeters. Same thing I got when I decomposed a different way. So that's 2 ways you can get it by decomposing. And the final way is to create it on grid paper. So I'm actually going to go to my virtual manipulative to show you that you have your grid paper always right here. And now you see it looks really big on my screen, right? Well, that's because I've zoomed it in. I have it zoomed in to 300%. Okay, you can zoom it in to 300% and then you can really see it up close. And it remembered my work from last time, so I'm going to hit, oops, not print, silly Miss Duncan. I'm going to hit erase everything, okay? So if you're going to build it on your graph paper, you just have to build what the question says, okay? So this is what I mean. The mouse is acting up, giving it a second. All right, there we go. Here we go. All right, so first see how this is 8 all the way down? So I'm going to come to my grid paper and count 8 down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Next, it's 8 across. So I'll count 8 across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then it goes 3 up, 4 across. So I'll go 3 up, 4 across. Then we go 5 up and 4 across to meet. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 4 across to meet. And I've recreated the exact same rectilinear shape here. Now, since area is an array and it's just the tiles that cover a surface, since I have the tiles, I can just count them. Okay, so if we want to count them, let me break it up to make it a little easier. I know this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So 3 rows of 4 is a total of 12. And here I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I know 4 times 8 is 32. Or I could simply have counted all of the squares on the inside to see that this is 32, this is 12, so 32 and 12 come to make 44. So worst case scenario, if you can't split it up by decomposing, that's okay. You can always recreate the shape on grid paper to help you solve, because area is just the squares on the inside. Okay, so hopefully that'll be a helpful strategy for you. All right, boys and girls, as we finish up, sometimes when we have a problem, we're not given the length and the width and just trying to find the perimeter, or given the length and the width and trying to find the area. Sometimes we're going to be missing one of those sides. But if you know that perimeter, P perimeter plus, is adding all the sides, and area array multiply, is multiplying length times width, then you'll be able to find the missing side if you know what perimeter means and if you know what area means. Let me show you. So my turn. Find the missing side when given the perimeter. So I've been given 2 pieces of information. I know that the perimeter is 26. So that means when I add 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, it's going to equal 26. But I also know that the length is 9. Okay, so what am I going to do with that information to find the missing side? Well, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to think of this as a part-part whole model, because remember, there's 4 sides that make up the whole perimeter of 26. So if there's 4 sides, I'm going to make a 4 part-part whole model. Side, 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 and side. So luckily, I already know 2 of the sides, because opposite sides of a rectangle are the same. So if this side is 9, then the opposite side is 9, and that's where these two 9s came from. And this total right here is the perimeter that I started with. So what I have to do is find the missing part. When we have 4 parts and we're missing 2, we're going to start by adding what we know. Well, 9 plus 9 equals 18. Okay, so we know 18 of it, but we don't know this part. So then we have to subtract, because when we don't know the part, but we know the whole in one of the other parts, we're going to subtract to find that difference. So I'm going to do 26 take away 18. Well, oh my goodness. Can we do 6 ones and take 8 ones away? No way. We don't have enough. So we need to borrow a group of 10. So 2 10s changes to 1 10, and 6 ones, if it gains 10 more, becomes 16. So now 16 ones take away 8 ones is 8 ones, and 1 take away 1 is nothing. So that means I have 8 to now put with this missing side. But be careful. Is there one side that's missing? No, there's 2 sides that are missing, but luckily they're the same, because opposite sides of a rectangle are the same. So if we have 8 left to now split between these 2 sides equally, what is 8 split in half, class? 4. So that means each side is going to equal 4. So to check your answer, always, always, always add them all back up and make sure it equals what you started with. So if we started with 26, we need to make sure that the missing side was really 4. Let's add these up. 9 and 9 is 18. 4 and 4 is 8. We add those together. 8 and 8 is 16. Drop a 6. Regroup the group of 10. And 2. Yes, it equals 26. What I started with, I know I did it correctly. So that's how to find the missing side when you're given the perimeter. Think about it as a 4-part to whole model. Add what you know, take it away from the total, and divide that difference by 2, because you're splitting it equally between 2 different sides. All right, as we conclude, we're now going to find the missing side when you're given the area. Now, this one is a lot less steps than this one, okay? This is why, because the area formula is different. How do we find area, class? Area, array, multiply, right? To find the area, we're going to multiply length times width. So if I'm given the area of 24, and I'm given the width of 4, excuse me, I'm given the area of 24, and that's going to be equal to the length, which I don't know, times 4. All it is filling in the missing factor. Okay? So a lot less steps. That's really it. Figuring out what times 4 equals 24. And we can always use our awesome multiplication chart to help us do so. So let's look at our 4's tables. Well, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Well, what times 4 is 24, class? I hope you said 6. 4 groups of 6, or 4 times as many as 6, is 24. So when you have a missing side and you're trying to find the area, boys and girls, you're just filling in a missing factor. Area is 24. One of the sides was 4. You don't know the other side. But you do know that area is length times width. So what times that width equals the area of 24? Well, that only number that fits in that space is a 6. 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, and that's all I have for you. So take your time on your assessment. Don't forget P perimeter plus, area, array, multiply to find the total amount in an array. Okay? All right, please rewatch this video if you need to. Have a wonderful day.